These things. You're going to hear some things you've never heard before. I will give you 7 of his buzzwords in the course of this presentation so that you can know how to try to begin to interpret what these people are saying. Remember, Hollywood is their perversion and the national media is their mouthpiece. And if you know what they're saying and know how to interpret what they're saying, you will know what they're going to do. Now, let me show you an example in just a few moments of some of their buzzwords. And they were, you may remember that we had a hurricane entitled Katrina that went through New Orleans. Just 2 weeks prior. Now, you go back and look this up for yourself. You can find it on your computer.
I have.
2 weeks before Katrina, the hurricane, came through New Orleans, the elite had prepared weeks in advance, because you don't make a movie overnight. It takes weeks and months to make a movie. They had written the text for it. They had prepared a movie that showed nationwide, over the news media, showed in many movie houses. It was entitled Oil Storm.
That's right.
Some will remember it. And in just a moment, I want to show you a clip from Oil Storm. We'll actually have it in this DVD. But it was 2 weeks to the day before Katrina hit that Oil Storm came out and was shown over the national media. It depicted everything that Katrina would do. The oil platforms out in the Gulf that would have a problem. The oil shortage that would be created. How that the people would flee to this big Astrodome in New Orleans. How that people would be stranded and the city would be underwater and the dikes would break. I mean, everything was there. Now, they called it something else. They didn't call it Katrina. They called it by another name. The people went by other names, the players in the movie. But basically, they showed everything that they were going to do, and they showed it 2 weeks exactly before Katrina took place. Now, how did they know this? You must. I think you probably recognize this one. Angels don't play this hard.
Before you go there, let me add one more thing. Yes, I have checked out Oil Storm. Yes, I am familiar with it. What you're saying is right on. And the objective of the hurricane hitting New Orleans was to raise the price of raise the price of a gallon of gasoline to above $3 a gallon. And of course, shortly after Katrina, just like they portrayed in the Oil Storm 4 months earlier, it happened. Gasoline went to over $3 a gallon. So step by step by step, they told us what was coming. And also, I've done some research in another area. There was another, I believe it was ABC series came out, and it was called The Lone Gunman. I've seen the clip. And these 2 pilots are in an airplane, and the airplane is flying along, and all of a sudden they realize they're off course. Somehow they've gone off course. They don't understand. So they grab a hold of all of the controls and the gadgets and start twisting and turning them, and nothing works. They can't control the airplane. Lo and behold, they start trying to figure out, where is the airplane going? We have no control over it. They realize that it's heading toward New York City. They see that it's lowering down. They don't understand what's going on. They're on the radio, but the radio is dead. They can't do anything about it. They look up. They can see that they're flying down low. They see where they're going, and then they see the Twin Towers. And this airplane is flying directly into the Twin Towers. They're pulling buttons, pulling switches, pulling fuses, cutting wires, everything they can, trying to get control. And then, of course, in the movie, at the last minute, it pulls up and just avoids hitting the World Trade Center. Step by step by step, 4 months later, guess what? An airplane flies into the World Trade Center. I believe it's another example, what you're talking about the world ruling elite, telling us, telegraphing their moves, letting us know in a gentlemanly way that a fight is on, letting us know what their plans are for the future. So yes, I can confirm what you're talking about.
Oil Storm was their buzzwords. Katrina. Now, you must, if those in the viewing audience have never read Angels Don't Play This Storm.
That's right.
Angels don't play this harp.
That's right.
You've got to. Please,
Yes.
go to your local bookstore. Go to your library. Get a copy of it. It's a masterpiece telling about the harp program, whereby they can manipulate fronts, storms. I was a pilot for 30 years. So I understand the movement of the weather patterns. We call them fronts. And they can control where these go. They may not be able to form a hurricane, but they can take that hurricane after it's formed, and they can move it where they want it to go by using the HARP program of electromagnetics and other methods. And you must get the book, Angels Don't Play This Harp, and read it so that you can understand how they manipulated Katrina to go exactly where they had depicted through their buzzwords in Oil Storm that it would go, and it did everything they said it was going to do. Now, I'm only going to play in a few moments a clip from Oil Storm, just a short portion of it. I beg of you to go to your movie house, wherever that you rent a movie or so on, you want to watch it at home, and look at the rest of Oil Storm, because some of the things haven't taken place yet. There were some buzzwords in Oil Storm that yet have their fulfillment, and when I reviewed it the other night in order to make preparations for these DVDs, I realized that there are some more things there that you need to see, that I believe they were giving buzzwords for the future in this Oil Storm movie that they made. You will never doubt it again. 2 weeks before, they told you everything that they were going to do. They showed you New Orleans and everything it would be. They told you, to the minute detail, what was going to happen. So here it is. I want you to watch this portion of Oil Storm, and then later on, I beg of you to go and get the movie for yourself and watch the latter part so that you'll know what they may be wanting to do in the future.
For the past 100 years, oil has been the lifeblood of America. But in September 2005, a hurricane blew into the Gulf of Mexico that severed the supply of oil to the nation.
This is a massive, everything we do every single day. And here came Julia. And all she was doing was just blowing wind.
Devastating scenes are being reported in hurricane-stricken New Orleans.
The loop pipeline that carries 1 million barrels of oil into America a day had been severed.
Hurricane Julia unleashed a chain of events that would change America forever.
2 ships collided at the Houston Ship Channel, a major artery for America's oil industry.
Long lines of gas stations and panic at the pumps. The price of gas is high and getting higher.
People were in a sort of a panic mode. People were bringing plastic milk jugs in, filling them up with gas.
It was chaotic, and I didn't understand how people became so desperate and treated each other with such a disrespect.
Americans didn't realize how fragile their existence was. Oil, the black gold of our national economy that had powered our economy, had become an Achilles heel.
Disaster followed disaster as the house of cards America was built on collapsed.
There's only one country that you can look to for help. That's Saudi Arabia.
Normally we get 2 million barrels of oil a day from Saudis, and now we wanted 3 million.
Any last words for the party soldiers?
This country was made great by people serving this country.
We need to protect our concerns, and our major concern was a cheap source of oil.
Oil hit a new record price of $153 a barrel today, following the blast at Ras Tanura. It has never been that high.
Trucking industry is under tremendous
Further blow to workers in the meat industry, shutting down with the loss of 6,000 jobs.
The government decided that the smart way to pay for the troops in Saudi Arabia was to cut the farm aid.